There's a strange feeling that only competitive gamers really understand. It's when you open the game, you stare at the ranked button, and for some reason you just can't press it. Not because you don't want to play, not because you don't care, but because the second you think about queuing, your chest gets a little tighter, your mind gets louder, and suddenly a game you've played 1,000 times starts to feel heavy. That feeling is ranked anxiety. And if you've ever felt your confidence disappear before a match even starts, if you've ever been scared to lose a rank, scared to underperform, scared to prove to yourself that you're not as good as you thought, then you already know this has nothing to do with just being nervous. This is psychological. Because ranked anxiety is not just fear of losing, it's fear of what losing means. At its core, ranked anxiety begins the moment a game stops feeling like a game and starts feeling like a measurement. The second there's a visible rank attached to your performance, everything changes. Now every win means something, every loss means something, and every mistake means something. The match is no longer just a match, it becomes evidence. That's why ranked hits differently from casual play. In casual, you can just lose and move on. But in ranked, a loss feels recorded, official, permanent, like the game has judged you and published the result. And the more seriously you take gaming, the more powerful that feeling becomes. Because if you've spent years grinding, improving, climbing, and learning maps, it becomes a mirror. And sometimes people aren't scared of the game itself, they're scared of what the mirror might show them. One of the worst parts about ranked anxiety is that it doesn't just happen in the match, it starts before you even queue. You think about your last session and games you've thrown, the aim you had yesterday, whether you're warmed up enough. And now, before the game has even started, your mind is already overloaded. That's what anxiety does. It drags your attention out of the present moment and throws it into the future. Instead of focusing on what's happening, you start focusing on what could happen. What if I play badly, miss easy shots, lose confidence? What if this session proves I'm washed? And the craziest part is, this fear alone starts creating the exact conditions that make those things likely, because anxiety makes you tense, and tension kills performance. This is where ranked anxiety gets deeper. Most people think they're anxious because they don't want to lose rank, but rank is usually just the surface. Underneath that, the real fear is identity. So when you queue ranked, you're not just risking points, you're risking damage to that identity. It doesn't always make you play badly in an obvious way. Sometimes it makes you play smaller. You hesitate when you normally would commit. You second guess reads you usually trust, and you overthink simple mechanics. And when that happens, you stop playing naturally, you stop flowing. Instead of reacting, you monitor yourself. You watch your own aim, your own movement, and decisions in real time, and that destroys your instinct. In fast competitive games, instinct matters. A lot of high-level performance depends on being able to trust your training, trust your reactions, and let yourself operate without constant internal interference. But anxiety interrupts that process. It puts your mind in the way of your skill. So now even though you know how to play, even though you've done this 1,000 times, you feel weirdly disconnected from your own ability. That's why so many players say, I know I'm better than this. I don't play like myself in ranked. I'm fine in scrims, fine in casual, fine in warm-up, but ranked feels different. Because it is different. Psychologically, it becomes high stakes, and high stakes change behavior. The players who care the most often suffer the most, because caring deeply about improvement, performance, and winning sounds like a strength, and sometimes it is. But if that care becomes too emotionally loaded, it starts working against you. Now every game matters too much. You don't just want to win, you need to win. And you don't just want to play well, you need to prove that you can play well. And when you need reassurance from ranked becomes dangerous. Because competitive games do not hand out reassurance consistently. They give mixed signals. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you lose to things you know you should beat. That unpredictability is exactly why ranked anxiety becomes addictive and painful at the same time. You keep queuing for validation, but the more you need validation, the more fragile your mindset becomes. People assume ranked anxiety mostly affects newer or worse players. That's not true. Sometimes, the more successful you've been, the more pressure you feel. Because if you've already hit the higher ranks, if you've already proven you can compete, then now there's a standard hanging over every session. And standards are heavy. Now you're not playing just to climb, you're playing to live up to your past. And that's one of the hardest psychological positions to be in, because your current self is constantly being compared to your peak self. Every off day feels unacceptable, so instead of letting yourself play freely, you start trying to protect your reputation, even if that reputation only exists in your own head. And once you start playing defensively, mentally, and emotionally, your whole relationship with rank changes. It becomes less about challenge and more about avoidance. Avoiding embarrassment, avoiding disappointment, avoiding confirmation of your worst thoughts. That's where ranked anxiety gets dark, because at that point, you don't just fear losing games, you fear losing belief in yourself. And this is what makes it hard to escape. You feel anxious, so you play tense. You play tense, so you underperform. You underperform, so your confidence drops, and your confidence drops, so the next time you queue, the anxiety is even stronger. Now your brain has a memory. It remembers ranked as the place where you choke, where you lose control, where you disappoint yourself. So before the next session even starts, your body prepares for danger. And that's not weakness, that's conditioning. Your mind begins associating the ranked environment with emotional pain. That's why even hearing ranked music, seeing the cue screen, or thinking about your placement can trigger stress. Because your brain isn't just reacting to the current match, it's reacting to the emotional history attached to it. And once that loop forms, a lot of players start doing one of two things. Either they avoid ranked completely, or they force themselves into it while secretly terrified. And both can make the anxiety worse, because avoidance makes the fear grow in your imagination. And forcing it without fixing the mindset just creates more negative experiences. One of the reasons this hits so hard is because from the outside, it can sound ridiculous. It's just a game. Just queue. Just stop caring. But anybody who has really experienced ranked anxiety knows it's not that simple, because it's not really about the game. It's about pressure, identity, control, fear of decline, fear of failure, and the emotional weight you attach to your performance over time. That's why you can love a game and still feel resistance towards playing it. That's why you can be skilled and still feel scared. That's why you can want to improve and still sabotage yourself the second the match starts. There's a battle happening between the part of you that wants to compete and the part of you that wants to stay safe. And when those two forces collide, the result is anxiety. The worst thing about ranked anxiety is not just that it hurts your performance, it slowly changes your relationship with gaming. You start dreading the thing you used to love, and when that happens, ranked starts stealing more than points. It steals enjoyment, it steals confidence, and for some people, it even steals identity. Because the one place they used to feel sharp, capable, and in control now becomes the place where they feel the most exposed. That's why this topic matters, because ranked anxiety is not just being nervous, it's what happens when competition, identity, and fear all merge into one experience. So, if you've been feeling ranked anxiety lately, if you've been hesitating to queue, overthinking every match, feeling like you can't play like yourself when it matters most, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not alone. What you're feeling is real. It happens when a game starts carrying too much emotional weight. It happens when your rank becomes tied to your self-image, and it happens when you care so much about performing that the fear of failure starts controlling the experience. And the most important thing to understand is this. Ranked anxiety does not mean you're weak, it does not mean you're bad, and it does not mean you've lost your skill. It means somewhere along the way, the game stopped feeling like a place to express yourself and started feeling like a place to be judged. And once you understand that, you can start fixing it.